Darlene or Diane, can you mute your mics?
Good morning, John.
All right, good morning, good morning. All right, I'm gonna mute the line out. I see we got a little background racket going on here. All right, by my clock, it is 10 o'clock on the nose. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Let me bring my camera up and all that kind of good stuff. Oops. All right, there we go. Well, welcome to the first Monday of AEP. That's as excited as y'all get about AEP? Come on, come on. All right. You know, we've got a mixed bag. We got some folks that are really knocking the cover off the ball. And we got some folks that are still getting warm up, slow starters. But we got 7 weeks. 7 weeks to make it happen. You got to get out there. You got to go see your folks. Preparation is going to be the key. And the key thing here is this, guys. You know, a lot of times we go into sales opportunities with blinders on. And the most important thing that I can't emphasize enough is that when we're going to see one of our customers, we don't know what they need until we talk to them. I talked about fact finding. Okay, the key is you want to get the information about that person. You want to understand what their needs are, and you want to make sure that they understand what their needs are before you move into a presentation. I think Glenarda and I actually used the same analogy with another agent I was talking to on Saturday. You know, imagine you sell cars for a living. And you see a family of 4 drive into your sales lot. And they're in a small, compact 4-door car. So in your mind, you're probably thinking, okay, SUV, minivan. You know, you're already thinking what this family might need. Bigger car, okay? Now, the key is this. You might be dead spot on in terms of what you think. But until you ask them what they want, you're not going to get buy-in. So if I have a family of 4 that come in there and say they want a sports car, a 2-seater, okay, there might be a problem here, okay? And you don't immediately pivot and start showing them sports cars, okay? Because, okay, wait a minute, let me make sure I understand this. The 4 of you came in this car. You're trading that car in. How are the other 2 people going to get home? Okay. You know, you got to ask questions, you know, before not, oh, okay, the 4 of you want a sports car? Well, I got this perfect car right here. No, you got to ask questions. You want to make sure, oh, wait a minute, you know what? I didn't think about that, you know? You've got to be the professional, because you sell them that car and they're standing there and they're looking at their kids going, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, who's going to get the ride home? They're going to be looking at you saying, why didn't you say something? You're the professional, okay? Or another example, let's say you look at them and say minivan, okay? Yeah, I got the perfect minivan for you guys. And they're like, no, we're not minivan people, we're SUV people, okay? If you ask, then you understand. So fact finding, gathering the facts, and then asking them, what is it that you want? What is it that you need?
Listen to this cover.
Okay, so now how does that tie in here? Because again, you don't want to presuppose what these customers are going to need. You want to broaden the perspective. A lot of times folks go in and you sit down and you talk to someone they might be in the right Medicare Advantage plan. But no matter what Medicare Advantage plan they're in, there's going to be gaps in even that, okay? So there's opportunities. Even the person that's in the right Medicare Advantage plan already, there's opportunities to help them as well. So we've asked Adam Busch from GTL to come in today to talk about how hospital indemnity.
Oh my God.
We've asked,
Who was that?
we've asked Adam to come on today to talk to our team about broadening your perspective, okay? Even in situations where you're talking to a customer and may be well-placed as far as Medicare Advantage, there are still ways we can help them. Hospital indemnity, cancer plans, spinal expense. There's other things that these folks need, all right? So, Adam, are you there? Man, I might have you muted. Hold on. I know you did. I saw you. Hold on a second. There you are. Okay, Adam, you there?
Good morning, John. Glad to be here.
Good morning. Good morning. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. So, try to warm it up and get everyone on board with what we're going to talk about today. So I will turn the table over to you.
That sounds great, John. Well, thank you very much for your time. It's great to be here. I know that your time is extremely valuable during open enrollment, so I do want to make this as concise as possible. However, I do think that it is extremely advantageous for you as an agent to offer our ancillary supplemental benefits during AEP. I mean, you really do have the opportunity as an agent not only to better protect your clients, but to increase your income by 50 to 75% during AEP. So, for example, instead of earning $500 per household, you could make $875, and that goes a long way. Now, John, will you be uploading the PDF that I sent?
Yep, I'm putting it on screen right now.
Okay, and I'll be able to see it on my monitor as well?
Yep, no one can see it yet. Give me 1 second.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right, so you should be able to see it now.
Yep, I completely do, and I'll have access to move the pages or.
Hold on a second. Make you the co-host here. Watch out, just let me know when you want to move, and I'll be there.
Okay, that's just fine. So again, this is a presentation offered by Global Premier Benefits and GTL. We pride ourselves at GTL Guarantee Trust Life is offering outstanding customer service and quality products since 1936. John? So, this is our agenda for today. Again, I'm going to try to keep it between 25 to 30 minutes. If you have any questions, if you could ask them at the end of the presentation, that would be very much appreciated. So I do want to quickly mention why Global Premier Benefits is a good partner for GTL. We'll go over who GTL is and what we stand for. I'll also explain a little bit about myself and my professional history. I would like to highlight the senior market, healthcare, and health insurance trends that really do promote the relevancy of what we do at Guarantee Trust Life. Today's product showcase is our Advantage Plus Hospital Indemnity Plan, and this is a plan that could be offered before, during, and after open enrollment. Our sales at GTL nearly double during AEP, so I strongly suggest that you take advantage of our Advantage Plus Hospital Indemnity Plan while you are speaking with or on appointment with your clients. So we'll go over the benefits, quoting, underwriting, the application process and policy delivery, and claims. I would like to point out why Advantage Plus is such a good plan, and it all comes down to sales. And we'll go over sales and compliancy. We'll talk about agency benefits, and then the next steps in terms of you selling this plan. John? So just a few reasons why Howland Insurance and Global Premier Benefits is such a good partner for GTL. We initiated the partnership last year in 2015. And I found that Global Premier Benefits is a very, very resourceful organization, highly reputable among agents, very relationship focused, and offer a lot of agent support. At the same time, they're senior driven, so they're driven hard and focused in the senior market, and also family oriented. And those are all qualities that we exhibit at Guarantee Trust Life. So a little bit about Guarantee Trust Life and who we are. We are an insurance company that is located in Glenview, Illinois, which is roughly 20 miles outside of the city of Chicago. We are a national insurance carrier that is licensed in 49 out of the 50 states. We're one of the few mutual insurance organizations left that is also family run. So we do pride ourselves on being extremely relationship focused like Global Premier Benefits. Being that we are a family run organization, we are able to be less bureaucratic and more innovative than our competitors. For example, we were the first company to bring hospital indemnity to the marketplace, and that was established when Medicare Advantage came to the marketplace. So we built this product to help supplement the benefits of Medicare Advantage. We are very, very supportive. So if you have any questions, you could also connect with me directly as well as the Global Premier team. And we're not only supportive for you as an agent, but you should be assured that we're very supportive of your clients as well. We offer that personalized touch that they just won't get with other carriers. So if they have a question, your clients have a question or a concern or feedback, there's always going to be someone here, a living live person who's going to be able to answer their questions and give them the proper care that they deserve. And I think that goes a long way with your clients, especially those that are seniors. We're very hands-on. Again, we are entrepreneurial, and by contracting with us, you'll have instant access not only to me, but our underwriters here at GTL, sales support staff, new business, and customer service representatives. John? Just a little bit about myself. I have 5 years of experience in the insurance industry and 10 years of experience in sales, business, and product development. Graduated in 2003 from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I earned my fellowship last year with AHIP as a health insurance in health insurance advanced studies. I'm a board member of the local chapter of NAHU. I am licensed in life, health, property, and casualty. I was a faculty presenter at the 2015 Medicare Advantage Sales and Summit in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I was a keynote presenter at Capitalizing on Growing Trends in the Senior Market at an agent summit in Wheeling, Illinois. Let's go over some senior trends that promote Medicare Advantage as well as GTL's portfolio of ancillary products. Between 8,000 to 10,000 Americans turn 65 years old every day. Medicare Advantage enrollment has continued to grow and increase in virtually all states in 2015. In fact, almost 1 in 3 were enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan in March 2015, up by more than 1 million beneficiaries from the previous year. Let's look at these bottom 2 statistics. While growth in premiums has been relatively modest, Medicare Advantage plans provide less financial protection to Medicare enrollees than they have in the past. And the average out-of-pocket spending limits have continued to rise, exposing enrollees with significant medical needs to higher costs. These statistics were provided by the Kaiser Family Foundation. So those bottom 2 stats really do point out that there is a significant need for more coverage, and you can get that coverage from the Advantage Plus hospital indemnity plan. Just a few more statistics. Indirect healthcare costs such as travel, lodging, and food are at all-time high. So I ask you as agents, does your client's Medicare Advantage plan pay out cash benefits for travel, lodging, and food? No, it doesn't. I mean, you could have the most robust Medicare Advantage plan under the sun, but it's not going to pay out for those incidentals that are so costly and associated with hospitalization. Observation stays went up 63% between 2006 and 2012. So how is that pertinent to you? Well, if hospitalization is coded as observation rather than inpatient, the Medicare Advantage plan may or may not pay out a benefit for that hospitalization stay. And again, observation was coded and it went up 63% between 2006 and 2012. The percentage of average charges for a hospitalization have risen in the past 10 years, while the average length of stay has declined. Possibly the most staggering statistic on this whole page is that among those with medical debt, 7 in 10 adults incurred all this debt during periods with health insurance coverage. So the question that you should be asking is, what can I offer to ensure my client is not among the 70% of underinsured Americans? You know, with the Affordable Care Act and recent legislation, surely it's definitely helped the amount of people that were uninsured. But did it really help a lot of people in terms of underinsurance, not having enough insurance? No, it didn't. So I recommend our products at GTL. GTL offers affordable insurance designed to supplement Medicare Advantage, traditional Medicare, and individual or family major medical health plans. Benefits are paid to the policyholder and regardless of any other insurance. There is no coordination of benefits. So our benefits pay out cash benefits regardless of any other benefits affiliated with their Medicare Advantage plan. Again, just to reiterate, this is a great way to protect your clients, to generate more income. It's a great way for you to build your account retention. You know, what we found is that your Medicare Advantage clients will be better retained if you also offer Advantage Plus. So if they're also enrolled in an Advantage Plus hospital indemnity plan along with Medicare Advantage, that Medicare Advantage book of business is going to be that much more retained, which is going to go a long way. One of my mentors in insurance told me, Adam, insurance is one of the only industries where you do not have to start over every year. And I believe that he was completely correct, and it's all about that retention and building accounts so you're not starting over every year. And Advantage Plus is a great way to do that. So again, hospital indemnity is Advantage Plus. So this is a great way to help your clients cover out-of-pocket medical expenses. This would be affordable insurance designed to supplement Medicare Advantage and major medical health plans. So again, it all comes down to protecting your clients, sales, retention, and referrals. And obviously, protecting your clients is the most important. This is affordable insurance designed to supplement, not replace, but supplement Medicare Advantage. And again, it's going to help lower or eliminate hospital stay copays. So let's take a closer look. I ask you as an insurance advisor, does your client's health insurance have deductibles or copayments for hospital confinement, ambulance trips, outpatient surgery, skilled nursing, or cancer? If they do, think of us at GTL in our Advantage Plus hospital indemnity plan. Let's get into the nuts and the bolts of the plan. So the base plan is the daily hospital indemnity. You and your client will choose a 3-day, a 6-day, or 10-day or 21-day benefit period in $10 increments. Remember that the benefit period and available riders depend on each state's approval. The good news here, folks, is that when you download the software from GTLIC.com, again, GTLIC.com, in the agent section, you'll download the software and you'll see that when you select you will only be able to select the benefits that are available in your state. So it is very, very user-friendly software. There's unlimited benefit period restorations, and this is going to restore after 60 days of no hospital confinement. We'll get into that in a second. So getting back to the base plan, the daily hospital benefit, you'll choose between 3 days, 6 days, 10 days, or 21 days. Then you're going to choose a daily benefit for a 3-day between $350 to $600 in $10 increments. So $350, $360, $370, all the way up to $600 per day. With a 6-day, you have a little bit more flexibility in terms of the benefit amount. You can select between $250 and $600. And the 10-day and 21-day benefit period, you'll have the most flexibility in that you can offer your clients between $100 to $600 per day for each day of hospitalization. So what does a benefit period represent and cover? The 10-day benefit period represents 10 24-hour stays in the hospital, whereas a 6-day benefit period would represent 6 24-hour stays in the hospital. This is very, very important for you as an agent because it's up to you to showcase value of Advantage Plus to your client. As an agent, how do you showcase value? Well, one way to showcase value is to explain how the benefit is used. Below, you'll find that these are very, very typical ways in which the benefit is paid out. For example, surgery such as hip replacement, heart bypass, or tumor removal. Unexpected hospitalization due to a sudden change in health, such as a heart attack or stroke. Or unexpected hospitalization due to an injury, such as a car accident or falling and breaking a bone. As I mentioned, there is unlimited base plan benefit restoration. So when the benefit is used, or if 60 days passes without hospitalization, the full benefit completely restores. Let's look at the example in example 1. So in this situation, you and your client have selected the 10-day benefit period. The 10-day benefit period is selected. Then the client has a 5-day hospital stay and goes home. There's no additional hospital stays for 60 consecutive days. In this situation, your client or our policyholder now has a new 10-day benefit period. Looks really good, right? Let's look at the 10-day benefit period in example 2. In this situation, the client has a 5-day hospital stay, then goes home. The client returns to the hospital within 60 days for 5 more days. Would those 5 days be counted? Would GTL pay out the benefit for those 5 days? Yes. Why would we? Because you've selected a 10-day benefit period, 5 days have been used, so that means that 5 days remain, okay? Then, no additional hospital stays for 60 consecutive days. The policyholder would then have a new 10-day benefit period. Let's go back to the left, and let's say that you and your client have selected a 6-day benefit period. Let's say, for example, that your client has a 6-day benefit period, is hospitalized for 4 days, and then goes home. Then the client returns to the hospital for 4 more days within the 60-day time frame. In this situation, the first 4 days we would pay the benefit out. Then, since the client is returning to the hospital within 60 days for 4 more days, GTL would pay for 2 of the remaining 4 days. The reason is because a 6-day benefit was selected, 4 days have been used, which means 2 days remain. Let's say in this situation, the insured, your client, has no hospital stays for 60 consecutive days after this. The policyholder would then have a new 6-day benefit period, which is great. This is why I strongly recommend that you and your client select the 10-day benefit period. Yes, it is a little bit more expensive than a 6-day or a 3-day benefit period. However, your client is going to get more bang for their buck. Also, studies have shown that the typical hospitalization stay is just over 5 days. So what I'm trying to get at here is, folks, is that we don't want your client to run out of days during their hospitalization. The whole point here is to have cash benefits at hand for each day that they are in the hospital. Included in the base plan is $150 for emergency room expenses if admitted within 24 hours due to an injury, as well as a mental health benefit of $175 per day if confined to a mental health facility. With the Advantage Plus Hospital Indemnity Plan, we have some very, very attractive riders. So these are benefits and features that are not included in the base plan, but you as an agent can select them with the permission of your client. Let's go over them. The dental vision rider. This rider is going to pay your client an annual benefit up to $400, $800, or $1,200 for services performed by a licensed dentist, ophthalmologist, or optometrist after the first year, including $200 for prescription eyeglasses or contacts. There is a $100 annual calendar deductible. GTL is going to pay 80% of actual charges for covered expenses up to the calendar year maximum benefit. So you've probably heard of standalone dental vision plans, okay? This is not a standalone dental vision plan. This is a great, great rider that is attached to the base plan if you so decide, that will provide some coverage for dental and vision, okay? So you might have a client that would not see the value in getting a dental or vision standalone plan. So this is a really, really attractive feature for those people that want some coverage. The short duration hospital stay rider. This rider is available for those with a 10 or 21 day benefit period, as it's already included in the 3 or 6 day benefit period plan. It pays for a short hospital stay of 12 to 24 hours if you're admitted to a hospital for a covered sickness or injury. This includes time spent in the hospital as an inpatient under observation or as an outpatient in the ER. So without this rider, how many hours does your client have to be hospitalized to receive the first day benefit? 24 hours, right? So with this rider, they could be in the hospital for as little as 12 hours to 24 hours to receive the benefit for the day. The lump sum cancer coverage. With this rider, if you select $2,500, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000, GTL is going to pay a lump sum cash benefit to your client if they are diagnosed with cancer. It includes a benefit for cancer in situ. Cancer in situ means that the cancer has been diagnosed, but thankfully it is not spread through the blood or the lymph nodes. It is also going to pay a $500 payment for basal cell skin cell carcinoma. Our ambulance rider is really our most popular rider along with the cancer coverage. With this rider, $200 daily usage benefit up to $2,500 lifetime maximum. There is no hospital stay that's required, and this would be coverage to or from a medical facility. The benefit is payable up to 4 times a year. The lump sum hospital rider is going to really just provide a little bit more coverage for your client's first day of hospitalization, because statistics have shown that the most expensive day your client is in the hospital is the first day. So let's say, for example, that you and your client have selected a $500 per day benefit for every day that they're in the hospital. You and your client have also selected a $500 lump sum hospital rider. After their first 24-hour stay in the hospital, they would receive $1,000. For every remaining 24-hour time frame in the hospital, they would receive $500. The outpatient surgery rider is going to provide $250, $500, $750, or $1,000 as a lump sum. And the skilled nursing rider is going to pay out at $100, $150, or $200 per day for days 1 through 50. Is Advantage Plus only for people on Medicare Advantage? No. The issue ages, as we're going to get into, are for those between 40 to 85 years old. However, the majority of our policyholders on Advantage Plus are also enrolled in Medicare Advantage benefits. So our target market for this plan, and you can see that through our benefits, is Medicare Advantage. This plan was specifically designed to keep in mind of those people on Medicare Advantage who have co-payments. So as I mentioned, the base plan issue ages are for those between 40 through 85 years old. Let's say your client is enrolled before or on 85 at their 85th birthday. Thereafter, they can stay on the plan. Okay, so the policy may stay in force after your client is 85 years old. This plan is guarantee issue if your client is between 64.5 to 65.5 years old. This feature is no longer available in Maryland, but outside of Maryland, the plan is guarantee issue for those between 64.5 to 65.5 years old. What that means is that there is no underwriting for the base plan if your client is between 64.5 to 65.5 years old. Folks, this is the only hospital indemnity plan in the United States that offers a guarantee issue for those between 64.5 to 65.5 years old. So I encourage you to take advantage of it. This plan has been available for the past 9 years. There is no annual policy fee. There is a one-time application fee, but it is waived for the spouse. So say you get a husband and wife on the same application, it would be waived for the spouse. You continue to pay the same rate as you age. Rates, while not guaranteed to remain the same, have not been increased throughout the 9-year history of the product. And benefits are paid directly to the policyholder and regardless of any other coverage. So again, just to reiterate, benefits are paid to the policyholder and regardless of any other insurance. So these are cash benefits that we do not subtract or add any additional amounts based on their Medicare Advantage benefits. It is what it is. One more feature that I wanted to point out is that Advantage Plus pays out at 24-hour observation stays at 100% of the daily hospital benefit level. As I mentioned before, observation has gone up 63% between 2006 and 2012. So it really, really is a wonderful feature to have this payout. So if your client is coded as observation when they're hospitalized, as opposed to being an inpatient, GTL will pay out at the same level of benefit. So if your client has been enrolled on a $500 per day benefit and they're coded as observation, we will pay out at $500. We're the only hospital indemnity plan to pay out at 100% for observation stays. I mentioned this before, that quoting software is available by going to gtlic.com and going into our agent section. When you get there, you'll see that the Advantage Plus Hospital Indemnity Plan software is separate from all other software. So you can download specifically the Advantage Plus Hospital Indemnity Plan software. It will take you 2 to 3 minutes and it will be right at your desktop. And you will not need internet to access that quoting software, which is very, very nice. Let's get into underwriting. So there is no MIB or phone interview that's required with Advantage Plus, as it's a simplified jet issue policy. There is a short yes or no application, and the issue ages again are from 40 to 85 years old. Remember that it's guarantee issue for those between 64.5 to 65.5 years old if your client does not reside in Maryland. Your client must have a social security number and be able to understand the coverage, the application questions, and read their policy. Rates are issue age and guarantee renewable. There are only 3 additional underwriting questions if they want cancer coverage. Remember, we offer the cancer coverage as a rider with the base plan. This plan is 95.2% issue rate. That means that 95.2 of 100 people will be accepted on this plan when they apply. That's very, very high. We have a variety of payment types and modes. We have bank draft mode on a monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, and annual. And we have a direct bill mode on quarterly, semi-annual, and annual. We do not take credit cards. I strongly recommend that you enroll your client on a bank draft mode on a monthly cycle. The reason why is because I want to strengthen your lapse ratio. I want you to decrease your lapse ratio rather and strengthen your persistency. Studies have shown that when your clients are enrolled on an electronic draft mode on a monthly cycle, the policy will be that much better retained, and the client will be less likely to cancel the policy. These are our 5 underwriting questions for the base plan, okay? It says at the top, if you are between the ages of 64.5 to 65.5 years old, as of the date of this application, skip questions 1 through 5, okay? If your client is not between 64.5 years old and 65.5 years old, but they are between 40 and 85, they will have to answer all these questions, no, to qualify. Again, all questions would have to be answered no if they are not within the GI range. Let's go over the questions. In the past 12 months, have you been confined as an inpatient to a hospital, nursing home, or received home health care? In the past 12 months, have you had a heart attack, congestive heart failure, stroke, TIA, heart surgery bypass, malignant melanoma, or cancer? In the past 12 months, have you been diagnosed with or been treated for chronic or COPD, emphysema, chronic bronchitis, insulin-dependent diabetes? Again, that's insulin-dependent diabetes, not all diabetes, but insulin-dependent diabetes, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, or chronic liver or chronic kidney disease? In the past 12 months, have you been advised to have surgery, which will require an inpatient stay, but have not yet done so? And the final question that must be answered no, have you been treated for or been diagnosed by a member of the medical profession as having AIDS, AIDS-related complex, or HIV? So just a couple of field underwriting red flags. In question 3, I pointed it out. In the past 12 months, have you been diagnosed with or been treated for, and then COPD, insulin-dependent diabetes, dementia, etc. Remember that if the applicant has any of these diseases, not all these diseases or conditions, but any of these diseases, they would not qualify for the plan. Also remember that being quote-unquote treated for a condition includes taking medicine for that condition. In the past 12 months, have you been advised to have surgery? So you might have a client that misinterprets what you're saying. So it's important to reiterate what you're saying, and that is been advised doesn't necessarily mean have had, but been advised means been advised, has been recommended by a doctor to have surgery. And possibly the greatest red flag is that there is a 6-month pre-ex prior to the effective date. This applies to everyone, including those that are guarantee issue applicants between 64.5 to 65.5 years old. That is why it is of the utmost importance that you do your due diligence, out in the field, and you ask your clients the right questions, including what pre-existing conditions do you have. So what does that mean? Again, the 6-month pre-ex applies prior to the effective date of the coverage. So that 6-month pre-ex applies to everyone, including those that are guarantee issue applicants. Let's go to example 1. The client has a qualifying pre-existing condition within 6 months prior to the effective date. So when I said qualifying, that means that they qualify in that they are either guarantee issue applicants or they have a pre-existing condition, but that condition has not disqualified them from getting enrolled in the plan. So the client has a qualifying pre-X within 6 months before the effective date. The hospitalization is then triggered by the pre-X within 6 months after the effective date. Would GTL pay out for that claim? No, we wouldn't. In example 2, the client has a pre-existing condition, it's qualifying, within 6 months prior to the effective date. They are hospitalized, but it's not triggered by the pre-X, and they're hospitalized within 6 months after the effective date. Would GTL pay out for that claim? Yes, we would. In example 3, the client has a pre-existing condition that's qualifying within 6 months prior to the effective date. The hospitalization was triggered by the pre-existing condition, but they were hospitalized 7 or more months after the effective date. GTL would in fact pay out that cash benefit for that claim. It's only if the hospitalization was triggered by the pre-X within 6 months after the effective date that GTL will not pay out for the claim. I just want to go over these 3 underwriting questions because I truly believe that clients should have more cancer protection. So these questions here are for everyone, including those that are guarantee issue for the base plan, if they want cancer coverage. So in the first, it says, in the past 5 years, has any person to be insured had the diagnosis having received medication or been treated by a medical profession as having the following, and that would be HIV, AIDS, or AIDS-related complex. Chronic COPD, emphysema, or chronic bronchitis requiring the use of 2 or more medications. Leukemia, Hodgkin's disease, lymphoma, malignant melanoma, sarcoma, or internal cancer. Had radiation or chemotherapy for any of these conditions, or a pre-leukemic condition, a pre-malignant condition, or a condition with malignant potential. Remember, if the applicant says yes, they would not qualify for the rider. For any of the conditions which benefits are being applied for in the past 24 months, has any person to be insured had unwanted weight loss, unusual bleeding, shortness of breath, chronic cough, persistent diarrhea, lesions or lumps that have not been treated by a medical professional or are awaiting test results, or been advised by a medical professional to have a diagnostic test due to these symptoms. And again, if it's yes, they would not qualify for the cancer rider. They may qualify for the base plan, but not the cancer coverage. So after you submit the business, we'll see how fast and easy it is. When you submit business to GTL, you can submit it in a variety of ways. Basically, any way you send it in to GTL is good with us. You can take a paper application and email it to us or fax it to us, or even put it in the physical mail and mail us the application. I strongly recommend that you use the agent portal or our iPad app, which is downloadable at the Apple Store. The portal you can access when you get contracted through GTL. We'll offer you some codes that you'll be able to access the system. So the portal and the iPad apps are the electronic ways of submitting business to GTL, and it's definitely going to be the most efficient, and it's definitely going to be the fastest. When you submit business electronically, you'll see how fast it works. And in fact, the plan could be approved in 3 minutes or less, especially if they are within the guarantee issue timeframe. So upon policy approval, you as an agent are going to receive an email immediately letting you know that the policy has been approved. The copy of the approved policy is going to be at your fingertips, and you could download it through your GTL account, okay, where the agent portal is, for 90 days from the effective date. You'll also be provided in the email with leave behind forms such as a MEDUP form and a HIPAA form, okay? Your client is also going to get an approval email as well, letting them know that the policy has been approved. They'll be provided with a link. That link will take them to the policy holder portal, where they'll be able to download and print off their policy 24/7, 365. In the mail, GTL will physically mail your client ID cards, a welcome letter, and a summary of benefits, okay? As an agent, you can still elect to deliver the GTL policy if you so desire. In this case, we would physically mail you the ID cards, the summary of benefits, and the welcome letter, and you then could take it directly to your client. So again, I recommend electronic application process because it is going to offer you greater accuracy, speed, and time. Please do note that only e-applications that are submitted on the agent portal require the applicant complete a short verification call. So this is not a phone interview. This is essentially a voice signature. When you're collecting a paper application from a client, they're going to be signing their name in ink, correct? When you are enrolling a client using our iPad application, the client is using their finger on your screen and you're submitting the business thereafter. However, when you are submitting business electronically through our agent portal, they are not signing anything. So we need to make sure that they are valid and they're able to understand that this is hospital indemnity coverage. This is not a phone interview. It would only take 1 to 2 minutes. I strongly recommend that you complete the verification call at your client's house at the time of application or while you're on the phone doing a three-way call. So how is a claim submitted to GTL? Policyholders are going to contact GTL customer service to request a claim form or to ask questions. So we're looking for 3 things. We're looking for when your client went in the hospital, when they went out of the hospital or discharged, and what they went in the hospital for. Why were they hospitalized? So they're going to complete that Advantage Plus claim form, a HIPAA form, and an itemized bill will be submitted to GTL. We will contact the policyholder if anything else is missing. Remember that there is a 24-month contestability period, okay? That is why it is of the utmost importance that you inform your client of the 6-month pre-ex when you are at their home or on the phone, so they understand that if their hospitalization is triggered by a pre-existing condition within 6 months after the effective date, GTL will not pay out for that claim. I'm not going to read all of these to you, but along with our service offering here at GTL, we really do offer a hospital indemnity plan that is second to none. Again, we're going to offer more flexibility than any of our competitors. We offer a 3-day or a 6-day in addition to a 10 or 21-day benefit period, where generally you cannot get anything under 6 days with our competitors' plan. We are the only hospital indemnity plan that offers that guarantee issue for ages 64.5 to 65.5 years old. We're the only hospital indemnity plan that is going to offer observation covered at 100% of the daily benefit. Our application has 5 short questions. Our competitors usually have a 7-question application and a 24-month look back, which is going to disqualify quite a few people. When it comes down to dollars and cents, we have one rate for the entire state, and we employ unisex rates, where our competitors usually have zip code rates, which is going to disqualify a lot of people that will not be able to afford the plan. So these are all significant nuts and bolts reasons for selecting the Advantage Plus hospital indemnity plan over others in the market. Sean? As I mentioned, you can sell this plan before, during, or after AEP. GTL sales nearly double during open enrollment, which shows that agents out there, senior-driven agents out there, are offering our plans during AEP. Remember to bring it up during AEP appointments. So, important reminders are to make sure you have the hospital indemnity plan box checked on the signed scope of appointment form prior to the appointment. If your scope of appointment form does not have hospital indemnity products listed, make sure to wait at least 48 hours after your AEP meeting before talking to clients about Advantage Plus. If the purpose of your client meeting is to only talk about Advantage Plus, then no scope of appointment is needed. I think I should go through those one more time. Remember to make sure that you have hospital indemnity plan box checked on the signed scope of appointment form prior to the appointment. If your scope of appointment form, does not have hospital indemnity products listed, make sure to wait at least 48 hours after your AEP meeting before talking to clients about Advantage Plus. If the purpose of your client meeting is to only talk about Advantage Plus, then no scope of appointment form is needed. So number 3, that is more relevant before or after AEP, because obviously your bread and butter is Medicare Advantage, and we realize that. So when it comes to sales, it's all about the basics here. It's about developing rapport. How do you develop rapport with a client, or namely a prospect? By discussing family, residency, school, employment, and recreational activities. Identifying needs is going to be cornerstone or fundamental to offering and selling Advantage Plus. Asking the right questions is critical. One question that you might want to ask is, what are some out-of-pocket expenses that you may incur if you were hospitalized? Or you can ask, in a scenario where you were hospitalized for 5 days and you needed ambulance for transport, skilled nursing, and you can mention other services that would have co-payments. Would you be able to pay for the expenses, or do you know how much that could potentially cost? What several agents that sell a lot of Advantage Plus do is they will add up all the co-payments associated with their client's Medicare Advantage plan and compare it to the small monthly premium associated with Advantage Plus. Remember to always ask, do you have pre-existing conditions? Presentations could be visual, auditory, or to the touch, kinesthetic. One way to close the business is to ask, can we get you enrolled today in Advantage Plus so you can have greater peace of mind and be protected against debts related to hospitalization? Advantage Plus lends itself to cultivating referrals. So one way to wrap up your conversation with your client is, do you know if anyone who would see the value in a plan that would pay for hospital copays? Positive results for you as well. GTL offers direct income that's paid out weekly. So let's say that the average Advantage Plus premium, we multiply that by your first year commission, which would yield around $200 in application. That tends to be a little bit on the lower side, folks. If we multiply 200 times 5 acts per week, that would yield $1,000. We multiply that by 4.5 weeks, would be $4.5 thousand a month, so $4,500 a month. So I ask, what is your projected first year annual earnings if your sales production dropped by as much as 25% after AEP? That could yield more than $40,000 a year. What is your projected first year annual earnings if you also sold another GTL product along with Advantage Plus? Well, that could yield around $60,000 first year. Remember what I said before, is that 1 policy per household equals a client, where 2 policies per household equals an account. Your Medicare Advantage policy retention is going to go up. So how much more income would you make if your Medicare Advantage retention increased by 15 to 25%? What if you earned 2 referrals for everyone that you saw and you sold to 20% of that market? That would be 10 people per week times 20% times $200 per app times 26 weeks would yield another $10,000. And there's renewals as well, okay? So second year renewals, if we multiply that by 5 years with no increase in production, over that 5-year time frame, that would yield around over $10,000, in fact, $12,825. GTL offers trips that are second to none, and our last convention was celebrated and attended by our FMO partners as well as writing agents. So the next steps would be, if you're not contracted or you have questions in regards to product or comp, to call or email Global Premier Benefits. Global Premier Benefits will submit your contracting paperwork to GTL. Appointment takes 3 to 5 business days after contracting is received by GTL. At that time, you'll receive your code and you'll be able to have access to our agent portal, the commission portal, and the GT link. So I ask you as an agent, as an insurance advisor, when will you or your agents write business, and what is an optimistic yet realistic sales goal? I want to thank you so much for your time, your interest, and your business. And I also want to wish you a wonderful AEP, and I hope it's the best yet. My name is Adam Busch, and my contact information is at the bottom. You can reach me via email for product questions at abusc@gtlic.com, or call me directly at 847-460-4751. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Adam. Let's give him a round of applause, guys. So before we let you go, if there's any other questions online or in the room, please vocalize those or chat those questions in. However, what I would like to ask, Adam, if you could expand again, I know the presentation went over it twice, but this is an important point, on the observation, the distinction there. Like, why is observation bad for someone on Medicare?
Okay, yes. So essentially, it's not necessarily bad for someone on Medicare. It can be bad for someone on Medicare. So I hate to use such a blanket statement. You'll find, John, that there's a lot of Medicare Advantage plans out there that do not cover hospitalization when it is coded as observation by the hospital, okay? So hospitals have coded observation more and more throughout the years. So which means that your client may or may not get benefits from their Medicare Advantage plan if they are coded as observation. If they're coded as observation, you have to remember that there still might be tests that they're running on them, etc. And all those things would not be covered by Medicare Advantage. However, GTL, our Advantage Plus Hospital Indemnity Plan, is going to pay out at 100% of the daily limit. So if they are enrolled on a 10-day plan, it's say $500 per day, and those first 24 hours, they're coded as observation, they would still receive $500. That goes a long way. Those are cash benefits that can help pay for all those tests or whatever it is that they need to pay for during that coded observation stay. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Okay, there's a question online. Who do they contact if they're having login issues?
They can contact, actually they can contact sales support at GTL, and GTL sales support will be able to assist them.
Is there a number or an email address that I can share with them?
Yeah, actually, why don't I send you the sales support phone number? As soon as we get off, I will email that to you. Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, and then you can share it with the group.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one. So the benefit reset on 60 days, so every 2 months, no issues with the number of claims frequency-wise?
Correct. So the question is benefits reset after 60 days. So there's no limit on how many times it can reset. So effectively, there's only 12 months in the year. So intrinsically, there's a maximum because the year will run out, but there's no cap on it.
Would that affect that particular person's rate next year?
Okay, great question. So, and actually, I'm going to add a part to that. So, Adam, are there any lifetime limits on the plans?
There are not.
Okay. And does their usage have an impact on subsequent year premiums?
Since the plan has come out and been launched in over 9 years, the answer to that would be no.
All right. Any final questions for Adam?
And I just want to point out with that unlimited benefit restoration, John, that's just one more reason for your clients to keep the plan. It's one thing for them to enroll in the plan, it's another for them to keep the plan. And if the benefits are unlimited, they're more likely to keep the plan, which means that you're more likely as an agent to receive those renewals. So it's good for everyone involved.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Okay, so there's another question. You did mention that the coverage can continue after age 85. Is there a termination year?
No, there isn't.
Cap?
There isn't.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Any final questions? Because I want to walk through one thing with you guys just to make sure you understand how this fits in with what we do. If that's not already clear. Okay, let's give Adam another round of applause. All right, so real quick, what I want to walk you guys through. Obviously, when we're going out to see our customers, our main discussion at this point is Medicare. And one of three things should be happening. It's either we're having a conversation about supplements because that person has higher income, they already are in a plan, they're aging in, they might qualify for a plan. Medicare Advantage, in terms of us offering them something, or they're already well placed. Okay, we can't offer them a better rate on Medicare Advantage. On Medicare Advantage plan, we can't offer them a better rate on the supplement. Okay, the challenge is here. Okay, point is we keep going. Okay, your nose leads the yeses. So okay, fine. If I go through and, okay, this is a sales opportunity. I talk to them, we quote them a supplement, maybe I can get them a better rate, we make a sale there. You don't end there. You process that, and now we move on to the next layer. Medicare Advantage, we find a product for them, we help them with the Medicare Advantage, we place that, and we move on. If I don't have a fit for Medicare Advantage or supplement, again, we still move on to the next layer. Hospital indemnity, because we know that there's a gap in Medicare Advantage, okay? Too many people are getting here and the person says, oh, I'm good with what I have, and they end it. Okay, well, that's where you educate them. Okay, how much is your copay? So if you're hospitalized right now, how much would it cost you out of your pocket to go to be in the hospital? Okay, we move on to next. This is another opportunity to get a yes. Okay, so then now we get yes or no. All right, then we keep moving. All right, even if we get a yes, okay, we have the opportunity with the hospital indemnity plan to also cover cancer, right? So now we have another opportunity to get a yes, okay? Even if a person's in a hospital indemnity plan, okay? Adam went through the differences between the hospital indemnity plan that we offer and what they may get with someone else. So now it's a competitive advantage that we're looking at. And then we can talk about, okay, we can also add cancer coverage, lump sum, benefits. We can talk about the short stay, okay? Ambulance coverage, okay? There's an additional benefit, okay? Yes or no in either one of these categories. Now we move on to the next category, okay? So many people get here and stop when there's way more opportunity with every person. We have to exhaust every opportunity with every customer. Not get here trying to, with our tunnel vision, trying to sell Medicare Advantage. We fact find, we understand. Am I talking to a supplement customer or a Medicare Advantage customer? If the supplement customer is about premium, okay, can I get them the same or better benefits for a better price? When I say same or better, if someone's in an S plan or G plan, in a G plan, am I able to get them a better benefit? If someone is paying an extra premium for the benefit of getting their deductible paid, they might be better off with a low premium and just paying the deductible, right? Okay, that's what the opportunity supplement-wise. Medicare Advantage is about benefits and costs. Going through and doing the fact find, understanding where they're spending their money, and seeing if we can help them here. If we can't help them in either case, they're well placed. Move on and talk to them about where the gaps are here.
And should we do it best to do it in that order, like then do husband then as the next questions, then cancer, then
absolutely. I mean, to use my car analogy before, we got to start on the vehicle first. This is the big chunk, okay? Then we move on to undercoating and format. You know, yeah, we got to get them in the car first.
No, I understand that. I was just
the
order go with HIO.
Exactly. So you want to focus here and then keep moving. It's not until you've discussed every possible product that we offer that then we've exhausted that opportunity with that customer today. Now, that doesn't mean that that person isn't a good person for us to follow up with again next year, okay? Because Medicare changes. The deductible, the Part D, everything changes. So let's go back and we go through the same process all over again. Okay, let's talk about where you are now. You should have received the annual notice of change, okay? What are your premiums? What are your benefits? So forth, the exact same process. If they didn't buy hospital indemnity last year, okay, here's another opportunity. We should be following up every year going through the same cycle.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why a lot of older people end up being in hospital overnight, there are a lot of falls, particularly in the bathroom area. So I don't know if you have any stats on that, because that causes people to be hospitalized. Good scare tactic, but real. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we can look for stats. I don't know if you can make a note of that, Mark. Yeah. See if we can get some statistics on that. But also, Mark, if you could look into putting together a list, who to call. We've talked about this a couple times, and we need to compile a page. Like every time we have a guest speaker come in, people say, "How do I get in contact with them?" And we can put together.
Adam still want to call?
Adam, you still there? All right,
Can I interject on this a little bit? Hey, good morning.
Morning.
We got the everyone else on.
Yep.
The international team.
Yep.
We're going international. We're going global, baby. How y'all doing?
Good.
All right, good. Something up with them Ravens, man. Dang. I could play better than that. Dang. Man, what's Flacco throwing at? That's the end, man. It got me wide open. What is wrong with him?
Three giants in the area, and there's no receivers.
Yeah, we had a good game. So I'm gonna tell you, life has its twists and turns. You know that? It's like always another a surprise. It reminds me of that great all-time classic movie, Forrest Gump. You know, what was that phrase when he was sitting on the bench? You know, life's like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. So on Saturday we played a football game. I was coaching the game, and it was off the charts, man. We played a 45-minute first quarter. I'm like, what is that? You know, they were making the referees making all kinds of mistakes, and you had referees coming in dungarees, and I'm like, something's not right with this picture. You know, there was just controversy, all kinds of nonsense and drama and adversity. My kids stayed true, man. They kept plugging away. I had to pull them together. My parents together, calm down. You know, because it was just nonsense. You know, it was obvious we were in a time war Twilight Zone moment for football. 45-minute first quarter, okay? And we're like, what's going on here? So long story short, we won the game 40 to 12. Wow. And hopefully, I don't know if it was rigged or just what, we still won. But they found out the referees were just pulled off the street. They put them because the real referees didn't show up. So the team was the host team. So we got to find somebody. So they just put people on there. So we still won, but it was craziness. And I told our kids, you know, diversity is part of this. Because there were some things that unfortunately were happening. And I had to call the parents out and the kids up. One big huddle. Call everybody out of stands. All the time I said, guys, calm down. Don't say another word to referees. Don't say nothing else. We're in an adversity moment. We're going to see this thing through. Yes, there's some things not fair. It's because these referees aren't real referees. I figured it out. I said, but what we need to do is show integrity and show what we're really about, and let's squash this because it was getting crazy. It was just chaos and nonsense. We need to show, peace and serenity and take the high road. Let them act like fools. I mean, they were beating each other up, the other team. It's another Christian program. They were fighting on their own side, like, what is this? And we won. Everybody calm down. Let's do this thing. And our kids played an amazing game, and a game that was a little messed up. And the moral of that is that in the face of adversity, things are going to happen. Things that you never, ever expect. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. It's on how you deal with it, okay? And that's one thing I want to make sure you guys understand for today's message, because I'm going to go through some things with you guys. Some things don't go the way we plan. You got to always be able to be flexible. I was calling plays that were supposed to work. It didn't work. Guess what? What do? Anybody play football or a sport? You what? You adjust. Yeah. We made adjustments. Boom. It worked. They made adjustments. They stopped. Guess what you do? It didn't work anymore. What do? You adjust again. That worked. Guess what? Whether or not they adjusted, then what? They adjust. I mean, it was like, not only we had to beat the coaches, we had to beat the refs, to beat the I mean, we had to beat everybody. Our kids just kept fighting, and I kept them mentally there in the game. Guys, be in the moment. Don't get caught up in that last play. Yes, we know he missed the call. Yes, we know that wasn't fair. Yes, we know some things. Touchdowns are being caught. It was just a fiasco. But my kids stayed calm. Why? Because I stayed calm. I stayed focused. Yes, I was mad. Yes, I was angry at the situation. But I had to go back to basics and adjust for what's given. In this business, it's the same way. You have to be able to be flexible and adjust. You start with your plan A and then be ready for plan B. Plan B don't work. You might need to go back to plan A and adjust again. They over-adjust. Well, wait a minute. They over-adjust and fix A and B, go to C. You understand that? That's life. And that's why I love the game of football, because it teaches you how to be flexible and think on the fly and adjust so you can win the game of life. This business is no different. It's very forgiving. You can have the worst opening day ever. And some people had that and come back the next day and have a record day. I've had that happen to me personally. I've had days I blanked. I've had weeks I blanked and come back and write 30 deals in 1 week. I've had 23 sales in a day. I had 80 sales on a Sunday one time. 80. And that's hard to believe for some people to work on Sunday, but back in those days, work ethic, we worked whenever we worked. Go to church, went to work on Sunday. I used to go after churches. That made me good with God. I said, God, I'm here. I might be working, but I'm here. I'm missing the joke because, that's how I got used to other type of churches, man. It was like Methodist 1 week, Baptist the next week. Southern Baptist, man, they know how to get down, don't they? My Lord. But it helped me maximize my time. Go to church and write business afterwards. That's what I did every Sunday in those first days. But you got to adjust, and that's what he's saying here. Just like in a football game, this don't work, go to this. This don't work, go to this. This don't work, go to this. This may now be an option later. You understand that? You got to be flexible in this business. So in the early days, I put this together for our team, and I want Mark. The numbers are a little slightly different, but if you could update that to our researcher. During AEP or during SEP, all 5 of these blocks I would use. This is what we created when I was selling. As y'all know, I wrote business, very often. That's why, having enough of them to understand sales and marketing and what it's like to be on the street, knocking on doors and on the phones and getting to know. I know how the nose feel. It's frustrating, but you got to be flexible and be able to think on the fly. So during AEP, I wouldn't use the first block because it's talking about SPAPs, state assistance, the PACE program, the LIS program, the PAD program. Y'all don't need to worry about that now. But come December 8th, this was the block I'd bring back in. Why would I talk about that as my first block? Give me an answer. Give somebody tell me why. What is LIS anyway? What is that? So it's income subsidy extra health program. That doesn't matter now, right? Because it doesn't matter if they qualify, because anybody can enroll now. It's October 15th, doesn't matter what qualification. You can get the plan. But come December 8th, that means something more, correct? They can still get that. How about SPAP? Anybody know what an SPAP is? State Pharmaceutical Program, right? And that's the Maryland plan. Okay, there's PACE, it's similar. That's for what state? Pennsylvania. There's DPAP. What state's that for? Delaware. What's PAD? What state's that one for? No, that's for New Jersey. okay? That was back when we had New Jersey as part of my territory. We used to kill it, New Jersey. Love New Jersey, all right? All right? And RX coverage, you know, we would talk about this question and would open up. Miss Johnson, here's how I talk. Miss Johnson, before we get started today, I want to make sure we're taking care. We like to do a quick service to just see where we're at. Because my job today, man, is help you, and prayerfully I can save you money or give you better benefits. Is that okay with you? I just need 60 seconds just to ask you these questions to see where you are on things. Many people are unaware of extra help that is available through federal and state programs to qualify your income, and I quote your income. Does this apply to you, yes or no? Now, this is what I'm doing during lock-in now, December 8th. So I'm just letting you know that's how I would open it. If it's during AEP, I just skip that because that really doesn't apply right now. Is everybody with me so far? I dumbed it down so even I can do it, okay? I want to make sure this wasn't that complicated. This is not a complicated business, okay? So since we're in AEP, the blue area doesn't matter. For those of you guys who are on the line, this is what I'm talking about. And John will send you this updated version once, Mark, you fix the numbers in the blue area because they're different now, okay? Yes, yes.
So I know you said the list, we're in AEP.
Yes.
But if they qualify for lists, then they can get their Part B premium.
It's LIS.
LIS.
Yes.
They can get their Part B premium taken care of.
Yes.
That's $104 that they could use for something else.
Yes, yes, you can still do that, but it's just not a priority. During lock-in, that's a priority. That makes sense in terms of marketing and sales. I'm trying to make life easier on you. You can still do that, yes. Okay?
Change the sequence.
Yeah.
You do both of them, but during lock-in, you start with LIS because we need a special election. It's AEP. We already have a special election. Yeah, so we come
So I'm starting with the blue area during lock-in because that's a priority. As John said, I'm flipping the priority. Now I'm going with yellow first. Got it? I'll go blue back in December, December 8th. I'll pick back up there. Because I got to get the what's called the low-hanging fruit. Let's say that. Low-hanging fruit. You know, because I only have a limited amount of time. We're down to 52 days now. Okay, we had 54 as of Saturday. We're down to 52 days. I can get this stuff that are in the blue area, the LIS, SPAP stuff, December 8th, because I'm going to need business then. Got it? I want to get low-hanging fruit in the next 52 days. So I didn't start with this question. Miss Johnson, as I started out, you know, before we go into this, really, it's nice talking to you about your grandchildren. I'm glad you guys are excited about Thanksgiving coming up and Halloween and, you know, whatever you guys talk about. Before we get going, I'd like to ask you a couple questions real quick. It's kind of what we call our global premiere 60-second check. Just make sure you are where you are. Okay, it's like going into the doctor's office. They check your blood pressure, right? Miss Johnson, they check your ears, they check your eyes, they check your, just to make sure everything's, you know, correct. They want to check your weight. I know I hate that one too, but you know, they got to check that, okay? Just to see where you are right now. My next question, just want to ask you before we get into this. Now, it's about your Medicare summary. That's a big topic right now because we're in what's called the annual enrollment period, Miss Johnson. I'm sure you've been seeing commercials on TV, haven't you? She's going to say what? Yeah. What kind of close is that? Yes. A yes close. Great. Well, just so we're clear, my first question, I want to go through Medicare beneficiaries have two choices. How many? Two choices to cover the 20% that Medicare doesn't pay. You're aware of that you got to come out of pocket for 20%. You know that, Ms. Johnson. What do you currently have right now to take care of that? You can either have a Medigap, Ms. Johnson, which has a premium and often no co-payments, or Medicare Advantage, also known as the what plan? Part C program, may not have a premium, but offers additional benefits. It's an HMO, could be a PPO. Which plan do you think sounds like what you have right now to take care of that 20%, Ms. Johnson? And then shut up. Let them speak. Once you find out that, great. Now you know what to do later in your presentation. You make a note of that. Got another question, Ms. Johnson. So what did I say? She says, I got to suck. I'm going to ask the next question. Ms. Johnson, how's that working for you? Is it pretty affordable? If you don't mind me asking, what are you paying? I'm paying $211 a month. If you don't mind me asking, what's the name of the company you have? I have ABC Company. Good company. Glad you got them. Okay? Ms. Johnson, if there was a possibility this could be something better for you, would you be interested? If I could save you money and give you better benefits, you know that's our slogan. Number one, we want to do what for people, right? You know, save people money and do what? Give them better benefits. Ms. Johnson, if I can save you money and give you better benefits on that stuff, is that something you might be interested in? How can we help her? A lower stuff, because we have stuffs, right, that we can sell that might be cheaper. Okay, I want to ask what plan she has, obviously. Or have you ever thought about an MA program, a HMO? Would that be something you're interested in? You see where I'm going at? That keeps me compliant because I'm asking her the question to see where she fits. I'm leading in with the stuff by design for a reason. Okay? Many of them are going to say, I don't have anything to take care of the 20%. That's great. Then I can tell them about the two options. You can go A route or you can go B route. And I stay compliant. Does everybody understand that? So you got your answer. $211. Can we do better than that for her? Depending on her situation, right? So that's where you go to say, Ms. Johnson, I may be able to help you with that. I don't know yet. I have to ask you a few more questions. Is that okay? But that's my job today, is to save you money and give you better benefits. I say that at least 5 or 6 times in my presentation. Just want to make sure I'm here to do my job. I work for you, Ms. Johnson. I'm hired to work for you. You're the boss. I'm no different than your doctor or your nurse. I'm here to help you. Okay? I'm here to help you. Say that.
I'm here to help.
I'll wear that word out, help. I'm here to help you. Or like to say is y'all. Help you. Y'all. Help y'all. Okay? I'm here to help you. Okay? I'm here to, number one, save you money, or 2, give you better benefits, or prayerfully both. But I need to ask you a few more questions. That might feel to help you that $211. Okay? We'll talk about it in a little bit. My next question, Ms. Johnson. Hospital indemnity. You may not have heard of that before, but what it is a special program that helps pay you while you're in the hospital. Most people, Ms. Johnson, are often surprised at the extra expense not covered by their insurance when they're hospitalized. Have you, put a note here, ask this question. Have you ever been in a hospital in the last 10 years? 90% of them are going to say yes. Expensive, wasn't it? Not just for the health care, but there's other things that are not covered. Transportation, your meals, lodging, loss of time from work, from a loved one, additional help for your care. There's co-pays and deductibles that you don't even expect when you lay in the hospital, aren't you? But it's not something you really want to think about because you're in a hospital. Usually people don't get the shock until after they come out of the hospital. You see what I'm doing? I'm setting the stage. I've already got her thinking when the last time she was in the hospital. A lot of times I say, well, what happened? 10 years ago, you had a hysterectomy. I'm sorry to hear that. What happened? Are you okay? Everything go well? Was there a lot of extra costs? Everybody gets extra costs. Yeah, that put a real burden on us. I had to go into my retirement. You see what I mean? Those are clues. There's always extra costs. So ask them about the last time they were in a hospital. Let's talk about it and the costs. The next one, number 3, Ms. Johnson. No, we don't have to hear about this, the C word. But here's a fact of life, Ms. Johnson. 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will develop some type of cancer in their lifetime. Shocking. You may know someone, by the way, who has. You know nobody in your family has ever had cancer. How many of them are going to say yes? In this room, raise your hand if anybody in your family ever had an issue with cancer. Almost the entire room. Guess what? Every one of them is going to know somebody. Cousin, brother, sister, best friend, aunt, uncle, or they possibly died from that. Ms. Johnson, the American Cancer Society states that up to 65% of the costs for cancer are non-medical, which means your health care doesn't pay for it. Ms. Johnson, if you were diagnosed, God forbid, with cancer tomorrow, you have an extra $20,000 aside to help you with the costs associated with that disease, yes or no? That's what they say the average is you're going to need of out-of-pocket costs. You see what I'm doing, guys? Mm-hmm. Yes or no? No different than going to Jiffy Lube and getting your diagnostic test on your car. They designed that very easily so any kid out of high school can do it. Knows how to work on a car, changing oil. They ask you this, you ask you that. Do you have this? You have that. When was your last full checkup? When's the last time you rotated your tires? When's the last time you had the fluids flushed? When's the last time you did your wiper blade? You see what I mean, guys? All they're doing is a sales checkoff sheet and giving you a recommendation. We can do A or we can do B. We can do this now, which is more important. We can hang on for this later. See what I mean, guys? What is urgent? Urgent right now is our health care. One trip to the hospital can break most families. You understand that? Next. Miss Johnson, boy, you've been doing great so far in my little checkup sheet. I know 60 seconds has gone a long time. Okay. All right. My watch is from California. It's not a New York watch, it's a California watch. Okay, so a little bit slow. Okay. Love California. You ever been, Miss Johnson? Okay. Anyway, burial plans. Here's something. You may have life insurance, but life insurance is for the living. Say that.
Life insurance
For the living.
But burial programs are about taking care of the final expense. Miss Johnson, 41% of all Americans die without life insurance at all. 41%. Okay? That's by life underwriters. National Life Underwriters came up with that study. 41% are dying without any life insurance. You know why, Miss Johnson? Because they thought their union or their job would take care of it, so they didn't take the time to buy it. And by the time they got around thinking about it, it was too expensive to do. The reason also is that they were pretty sure they weren't going to die that year. It was 41%. They kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Only the Lord above, when I was in the field, I looked up to the sky and they looked up with me. I knew that's when they were following me. Knows when that day is going to be. You never know. You got to be prepared. Miss Johnson, many seniors I find out are leaving generational poverty. They're leaving $10,000, $20,000 of debt on the children and grandchildren. Funeral directors nowadays don't put it on layaway. Sorry. They need the money now and they need it up front. If you were to die tomorrow, Miss Johnson, would your children and grandchildren, I always like putting children and grandchildren, makes it more personal than family. Your children and grandchildren have to change their standard of living? Does your children and grandchildren have $10,000 cash, add cash there, set aside to bury you tomorrow? I mean, I know people, one day they're healthy, next day had a stroke, and that was it. I know some people that had a heart attack, didn't know they had heart problems, perfectly good health, died from a heart attack. You don't know how long you got. You could be in your 50s and 40s and go, or 60s or so. You don't know. You don't know. Think about when your dad died, Miss Johnson, your brother died. You told me about that earlier. It was probably, some of them are sudden. You don't know how long you got. So I just want to make sure you're clear in what we got. So Miss Johnson, you only have $5,000. I think I can help you there too. I just did what John just told you to do. That's what I did in every single call and every single house. This sheet right here. During AEP, I just left this out. During the rest of the year, I did the blue. So I did. I designed it so anybody can do it. That's how we started. Juan, Paul Madera, the whole team, if they're on the call, they'll tell you. They're probably nodding right now. This is what we did. This is how we got started. So I say congratulations, Ms. Johnson, what you've done so far. You got some things done. That's great. But you know what? You got some things you haven't done. However, based on your answers, you're going to need this, 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 and this. But what I did is I prioritized it for you, Ms. Johnson. I think we need to take care of your health first. In a couple days, I'll come back and talk about the hospital indemnity, and the third, your cancer, and then the fourth, whatever order you want to do in priority. It might be this is a priority after the health care. They got no life insurance. That's going to be priority number 2. Let's get your health care set up. I'll get that going, and I'll come back and do your final expense. Because they don't have this, this should come before these two. That makes sense in priority. If she tells me she only has $5,000, then she needs this. But she tells me I got $50,000 final expense, and she knows the name of the carrier, knows what she's paying and all that. That might not be a priority. These might be the next priorities. Everybody understand that. You don't need to be an Einstein to do this. This is not brain surgery. This is easy stuff if you want to do it and do it right. I'm going to tell you, I love Paul Madera, but if he can do it, when he first came in, couldn't even turn on our computers. Didn't know where the button was. Am I right? He didn't even know where the button was. Where's the button? He didn't know what this symbol was. Didn't know what that was. That button when you turn on. I didn't know either. Well, good. Show him so he can show me. I was watching like, yeah, I know where it is. I wanted to watch so they knew where to turn on. All right, I got it now. John knows that to be true. I am tech challenged, but that's okay. I can turn my phone on. Okay, I know how to do that. That button in the middle. That little button in the middle. I got it right here. That button right there. That turns it on. All right. That one button. That's all I need. Dial a number. Okay. The numbers work. That's all I need. Guys, that's all you need. That's what John was going over. And I did is make extra copies. Mark will redo this today, right? Put the extra numbers in there. But this is all you need. And it worked every single time. And these answers they gave me is how I structured my presentation. And once she said what she needed, I start with the priority, which is herself or Medicare. I go right into my presentation, my dialogue, my talk. And if this didn't work out, I already had this as my front sheet to say, hey, well, guess what? You told me, Ms. Johnson, you're going to stick with this fine, but you told me you had nothing for hospital indemnity, nothing for cancer, and cancer ran your family. Let's just do something today to help you out. I'll go with the cancer plan. If this didn't work, fine, I'll go with this. Well, Ms. Johnson, you told me 8 years ago the hysterectomy you ran up $7,000 in expenses being in the hospital. Well, you're okay there. You don't want to switch this out. Well, let's get the hospital indemnity plan for 30-some bucks a month. Let's just get something for you. You see what I mean? I take their answers from this to help me go through this. It's so simple. We've dumbed it down so much, it blows my mind that people can't do this because maybe they don't want to do it. I don't know. Because it's that easy. This is what we did. Things haven't changed much. And how many of y'all feel this is pretty easy? How many of y'all like this? This is my sheet. It's what I did. This is the very first one we used back in 2008. It worked. So I wanted to jump in on this. And if you guys want it from the field, Mark, can you redo this and send out to everybody? This is our 60-second checkup we did.
I showed them. It's already online. I showed them how to get to it.
And I'm going to tell you, that's what we did, and we were killing it in sales. It was the easiest thing in the world. We always got something from this sheet. That's all we did. That's all we did. The rest was nothing. It was no big deal. They already told me the truth up front, what they had, what they didn't have. I already know the story about the hysterectomy in the hospital that had $7,500 in expenses. I already heard about Aunt Betty and her mom dying from breast cancer. I already got that. It's going to help me later to make this enrollment. We already asked about their final expense and how much she had. $5,000. We know that's not enough. So I know she needs all four. What's the priority? Let's get this one. If that don't work, I go to this one. If that don't work, I go to this one. I got 4 opportunities to make an enrollment based on the answer she gave me to start my opening presentation. So when do you do this? This is after your initial rapport building session's done. After you've built that rapport, you know her name and know about her kids, and you guys, you know, when it's fuzzy and light, I just got some quick questions to ask you real quick. Boom, and knock them out. You customize it based on what they're talking about. Is that pretty easy? Questions? You like it, Franz?
Yeah, I think as long as they give you a chance to be fuzzy and light, some of them cut you off right at the beginning.
Okay, Ms. Johnson, listen, I know you sound like a busy lady. Am I right? You're busy today. Am I right?
Right.
And I'm just trying to help you. You mailed this card in, and that's my job is to help you. I'm sure if you went into the doctor's office, you want to get in and out. Nobody likes to wait in the lobby. Okay, I'm not going to keep you long, I promise you. But this is something that's going to change you and your family's life for generations to come. You do love your family, don't you? Okay, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to be able to help you save money and give you better benefits. That's why you mailed in the card, am I correct? Please give me the time to do my job so I can help you. Because I want to do my job so I can keep you. Can you appreciate that?
Yeah.
So can you give me at least 15 minutes, please?
Yeah.
To help you? I mean, it's about you. It ain't about me. I got it.
No, I'm just telling you.
Ms. Prawn, let me just tell you, listen, I love my job. I love helping people. But it'd be a shame that you hang up and don't even know what was being offered to you. What if I told you it was extra $4,000 with your name on it? Would you at least give me 15 minutes? What if I told you there's going to be a way for you to save on all your possibly now, save on co-pays and deductibles that could be in the tens of thousands? Is that something you should at least want to hear about? I mean, by the way, you sent in the card. This ain't no cold call. You sent a card for me to contact you, and I'm just trying to help you do my job so I can keep it. Can you appreciate that? Yeah. So can you at least give me 15 minutes to see if I can save you $5,000 to $10,000 possibly? Is that possible? Okay, it's no different than that Geico commercial. 15 minutes may save, what, 10% on your car insurance, right? Come on, work with me. I mean, if the Geico guy can do it, you can do it. What is it, the gecko? The gecko guy, the gecko. The little gecko, the little lizard. Yeah. Come on, the lizard can do it, you can do it. All right? Does that help, guys? Was that help? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Out of a supplement into a Medicaid?
If it fits the client's best needs, yes, always. Sometimes they can't afford this. That's why I asked that question. How is that doing for you so far? Did y'all write that down? If she tells me this is what she got, first question, then after my mouth, after she says they're paying $211, Is that comfortable for you? 9 times out of 10, they go, no. What if I can get you the same plan or better and cost you less? Is that something you'd be interested in? I know.
No, it's up.
For SUPs, you can, not Medicare Advantage. Okay? I'm talking about our SUP plan. Okay? The dialogue's different on an MA. On a SUP, I can say better. Got it? I can compare a plan on a SUP. Yes? SUPs are different by what? Premiums. So if I can save you money on this, Ms. Johnson, is that something you'd be interested in? And get you the same benefits? Or get you better benefits? Is that something you'd be interested in? And I can also show you another option that you might be interested in, as in an HMO. That could be a possibility too. I don't know. Let me ask you a few more questions. Is that something you may be interested in, to save money? Do you like saving money? You got that? Was that helpful? Yes, ma'am. Good. What else? Any other questions? John, did I do okay?
Oh, good.
Man, I thought I would get a lot more enthusiasm. I'm rusty, but I still got something. Was that good? Hey, was that good, Mark? I mean, come on.
You're learning.
It's so easy. It's so easy. It is that easy. Some people make this tougher than what it needs to be. It's not that difficult. I mean, scrambling an egg ain't that hard. That's as easy as scrambling an egg. You know, but if you're not willing to crack the egg and get the bowl out, put it in there and swirl it up, you know, don't be afraid of it. It works. The system works. John, I'm done my session.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, good deal.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So as a reminder, we have the Leadership Summit qualifier. All the information on leadership is on the Global Premier Benefits website. So you should be out there plugging away, guys. Everyone has the opportunity to be sitting in the sun on the beach with an umbrella drink in July. Okay, if you're not there, it's on you. Okay, well, it's and the beauty of it, guys, the part we tend to miss is the job here. Let's take that off the table. If there's someone that we go out there and sit down and talk to, and we're able to help them, that means that if we don't go out there and see these people, they're not getting helped. Okay, AEP is the one time a year where everyone has the opportunity to improve their position as it relates to their health care, either improving the quality or reducing the cost of their care. That's what we do. Don't look at it as sales. If it's about mentally visualizing what you do, you're more caseworker than salesperson. Because you're sitting down with that person, and bottom line is, if I sit down with someone and I look at their situation and I say, you're not in the right thing, let me get you the right thing. If you would just pay the salary to do that, okay, you're a caseworker. But the job is, I got to sit down with the people. I got to get them comfortable enough to talk to me, ask questions, understand where they are, ask them where they want to be, and connect the two places. That's the job. The beauty of it as a broker for you folks at home is that you keep getting paid year after year after year for the work you did today. 5, 10 years from now, you're going to keep getting paid for that work. Okay? That's the golden opportunity. Adam talked about that also. Renewals are the name of the game. You take good care of your customers. Make sure you're giving them a right solution and stay in touch with them. Follow up with them. If something needs to be tweaked, you be the one to tweak it. Don't let someone else come in and invade your house and take your customers. Take care of your client.
And by the way, the internals have profit sharing that renewals are included too.
Yeah.
That's part of your profit sharing in year 2, 3, 4, and 5, which it makes it easier to hit profit sharing because you got a book of business that's staying on the books. That counts for profit sharing.
All right. So, having said that, we're running a little bit long, and it is AEP. We got work to do.
Yes.
All right. So let's go out there, guys. Let's make a difference and have a productive day. Thank you. Talk to you all soon.
Good meeting. All right.